In today's video, I'm going to be interviewing Sam, one of our 10K and nearly 100K Club members from the Seller Pro Academy. Damn, you're heavy. And we're going to be talking about how he has managed to get a 70% conversion rate for his Amazon product. So if you're interested in this sort of content, make sure you're subscribed with your notifications turned on. Let's get into the video straight away. Right, welcome everybody. We're joined here with Sam. Welcome, Sam.
Hello.
Hello. This is your second time on the YouTube channel. The first time was when you joined the 10K Club, right?
Yeah.
If you remember that. Now. I'll put a link to that video up here and also down in the description if you do want to see like the before and after, or the before, during, and after. But today we really want to discuss your progress over the last year, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a bit less than that because it was kind of May last year up until Feb. So yeah, I suppose just under a year.
Yeah, just about a year. And you've been on a bit of a roller coaster. You've been on the ups and the downs. It's currently on a high, but you've been through the lows as well. So we kind of want to talk about what you've been able to do, the kind of how much revenue you've been generated in the last kind of 12, 13 months or so.
About 80K.
80,000. Nice. On the way to the 100K Club, which is I reckon that'll be another month. Maybe.
Well, it depends how long the stock takes. But yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah, exactly. Not a tremendous amount of time, but I know from discussing with you, looking at images, looking at PPC, I guess a few months ago the sales were down, but everything has turned around since then. So what I really wanted to do is kind of get you on here to find out what you did, how you did it, why you did it, so that other people can really learn from it, because the issues you've had are quite kind of normal issues that a lot of people have selling on Amazon. So let's just kind of go through a storyline of what happened after our last interview. So this is kind of like this time last year, roughly, coming into summer.
So last interview, again, I'd run out of stock. So I decided to place a much larger order. Biggest order I'd done, I think it was about just under 6,000. No, it was over 6,000 units. Wow. So I kind of took a pretty big jump because I was quite high on being on the high. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to sell these even quicker because of previous what happened previously. But that's quickly unraveled to not be the case. So I got into stock. The sales were probably 1/3 of what they were at before I run out of stock. So if I was selling like 90 a day, I was hitting about 30. Which still is nothing to be sniffed at, but it was just on a slow decline from that period to the point where it got down to like 4, 5, 2, 3 sales a day, which was absolutely horrendous. I was kind of having a mental breakdown because I've got 6,000 of these things. I need to get rid of them.
Yep.
And then on top of having so many stock, Amazon's storage fees were then starting to come in. So any money that I was making was starting to be taken away by Amazon storage fees. Then the PPC was just starting to run away with itself. It was getting ridiculous. So it was like I might as well just be paying Amazon for my product. So I kind of went back to Jonny.
But just to stop you there, like, obviously you kind of know how to overcome that for the future. But at the time, what was kind of going through your mind in terms of like this is it, this is the end of this product?
So what was going through my mind, I was actually contemplating on pulling them all out of Amazon and just throwing them away because it was going to be cheaper to do that than trying to sell them, because it was costing me money to sell them rather than binning them, obviously. So that kind of hit me really hard. But then I got in touch with Jason, and Jason and yourself had a look at the product a bit, and we noticed that the pricing on the products had just been, everyone was bottoming out the pricing. So the pricing had shot through the floor. So I dropped my pricing ridiculously low. I must have been making like 20p profit on a unit I was selling. So still it wasn't happy, but that slowly started to spike the BSR. And then to get the PPC under control, like the PPC in the course is great. But for my product, it was really unprofitable doing that way, trying to bid on multiple keywords at once. So what I did was I was doing like a pinpoint accuracy with keywords. I'd take the smaller ones because the smaller ones are much quicker wins. I'd be hitting that one keyword for as long as it took for me to get on the top 5. The minute I was in the top 5, I'd switch to another keyword.
So you're using just to recap that, and for those of you that don't know, Jason is part of the academy. He focuses on PPC and other things as well. Just if you didn't know, but then, so you were, instead of kind of going for, uploading a list of keywords and trying to get as many keywords as possible. Now, what that is going to do is eat up your budget. So if you have a budget for the day, and actually, the product price is now less, there's less margin, you don't really want to spend too much money. So was the process behind this, or the thought process, I'm going to leverage my money more efficiently by focusing on just like one keyword at a time, right?
Yeah. But it wasn't also just focusing on one keyword. It was deliberately focusing on the smaller converting keywords. Like, I didn't care if the keyword was getting like 500 search volume a month, as long as I was ranking on that keyword, because that was then contributing to the overall rank of the product. Yeah. So because of long tail and short tail keywords, it was then affecting everything else. So it started to bring everything else up, which was really good. Plus, there was also a slight change in the image, because again, you picked out that on the phone, the image, you couldn't quite see itself. It didn't stand out as much as everyone else. So I enlarged that, which again got me right up. But going through this process, it then allowed me to have a much bigger ammunition and firepower behind myself to really hit the big keywords, to the point where I was outbidding, or was able to outbid someone that was selling the same product as me for twice as much the money, which was phenomenal.
The reason why you could do that is really related to the conversion rate, right? So the amount of people, the visit listing versus the amount of people that buy the product. Now, I mean, a good conversion, could it be anything between 20 and 40%, right? I think anything over than 40% is pretty damn good. Like, that's quite rare to get. Your conversion rate at the moment?
70%. So that means
70%.
Every 100 people that land on a listing, 70 people are going to buy it. It's mental.
Yeah, that's mad. And just thinking about the position you're in right now compared to what it was, a few months ago, whatever it was, how does that feel? Like, do you have more confidence, or what's going through your mind?
I mean, I wouldn't say I have more confidence. I mean, I'm more switched on to the process now, and knowing that, because every time I've restocked, I've sort of gone. It's like a yo-yo. I've gone straight back down and had to build back up again. And it's given me more confidence in knowing that I can do that, definitely. But like, because now I'm going through a brand change, and it's like, oh well, maybe what if this brand change doesn't affect it the way I'm thinking? Maybe the old version, which I think is like horrific because it was my first ever product, what if that converted better than this one? But it's something that I'm going to find out. I don't think that's the case. I mean, I've had a lot of positive feedback so far, but I mean, it's just, you really got to take everything as it comes. Like just going into this, it's a world full of unknowns a lot of the time, and it's not giving up and just tackling each problem one by one. The small wins in this, I mean, are a lot bigger than the bigger wins. Like I said, people that go for the big keywords, I mean, you kind of a bit silly in the first, like right at the start. Like, start small. Like, you don't. Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day, was it?
I think that's really good advice. Yeah, because it's so easy to think, oh, this search term has a huge amount of volume. There's tons of people searching for it. It's really the broadest one. I'm going to advertise on that because if I get a small percentage of the sales, then I'm still going to be doing really well. But what you have to remember is that everyone else has, more history on their listing. They have more reviews. They might have a higher converting listing. They've got more juice to tell Amazon, hey, put us up higher and convert us to a sale. So, you have to kind of be patient with that and start small, like what you've done. Start ranking for the keywords where you can, and keep building it, right? Keep building it until you can really figure out which keywords are giving you the best return on investment, and you can plow money into them. You can put your budget up to, as much as you possibly can, because you know that it's going to convert. If you know that one keyword you've got is converting 50% of the time, then you could smash money into that all day long, double what other people are paying, because you know that you're converting just way more than other people's. And that takes time, right? That doesn't come from at the beginning.
But and the other thing to also think about is a lot of people do think that PPC is that magic button. I'm going to switch it on and it's just going to start converting. And
Yeah.
It's so far from the truth. It
Yeah.
really is. Because if your listing isn't converting organically, why do you think it's going to convert when you have paid traffic going to it? I mean, the same people are seeing it, whether you've paid for them to come there or not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just seems silly to go, right, I'm just going to go for the biggest keyword. And also people look, and this was something that I was really guilty of, was looking at the data on a really narrow time frame.
Yes.
I mean, I say that I was looking, like, ranking on the keywords, one keyword at a time, but I had a set goal there to actually rank on that keyword within that time frame. So, I mean, I didn't really care how long it took to get on that, but that's why doing it that way, I was able to look at it really, like, every couple of days.
You could see the result as well. Like with advertising, it's so easy to get lost in the numbers and forget that it's a human interaction, or forget what the goal is. Like, we say in the course, if you don't have a structure, or if you don't have a plan, then it's not going to work. You need to have a structure and a goal. So your goal was ranking for these longer tail keywords. Yeah. And then you'd be like, right, cool, I can have a strategy now. I know what to do. I know what keywords to put placements on. And then I can focus on that and relook at it every 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then make adjustments according to if it's reaching your goal or not, if you're getting towards that goal. And that is probably one of the most important things that you did that has actually given you that success. Of course, changing the images and increasing that conversion rate was necessary. But if you did all those things and still went with the scattergun approach for PPC, then you'd probably still be in a very similar position. Maybe, doing better, but not quite as good as what you're doing now. So I guess for anyone watching, I think the real takeaway is that, first of all, I would say don't try not to let it emotionally bring you down. I think that's really probably the first thing, because that's the thing that stops you from thinking logically and taking action. Yeah, because you think, I mean, it's hard, right? If advertising is not going well, you think, right, well, it's never going to be well. It's never going to be good because it's not good at the moment. But we know that things can change, like within a few days, they can change, literally.
Yeah.
Within one image, they can change.
Another massive thing I've also noticed, especially in myself, is when your business has money in it, you're a lot less careful of how you throw your money around, because you no longer perceive it as, well, I mean, I perceive it as my money. I mean, it's money in the business. Like I've got money I can throw money, a bit of money at that and a bit of money at this. But when you're starting out, you don't have that luxury. Every pound that you spend, every £10 you spend, or every £100 you spend, that's your own money, and you're really emotionally attached to it. Yeah. And I would say it definitely gets a bit easier once the business has money rather than it's your money.
Yeah, I think that's important, especially because you didn't have a business before this, right?
No, definitely not.
No. So that's your first, I guess, instance of making that transition from kind of consumer mindset of this is my money to spend, rather than this is the business's money to invest, basically. And I think that's a really, again, I spoke about this in my last interview I did with Chris, one of our 100K club members. It's a massive difference, a massive perspective change when you switch over to business mindset. Money becomes just a tool. It just becomes a number of, okay, how can I use this tool, this number, to make more? Whereas when you're in that consumer, it's how do I save as much of this so I can protect it as much as possible? Because we're brought up, most people, I would say, is to protect your money, right? To don't spend it, to spend less, to save. Absolutely, when actual fact, the business owner mindset is how can I spend as much as possible to make as much as possible, right? Or how can I spend as little as possible to make as much as possible? So I think that's really important. That's quite a key change, which will, you'll be with that for the rest of your life. So that's the first thing. I think emotionally, just really try to detach yourself. And maybe a task you can do is say, well, what if it was someone else's business? If it was your friends, what advice would you give them? Right. And that sometimes will allow you to take a third perspective, like a different perspective that maybe was clouded before when you're just thinking about yourself. Second thing, images. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
testing.
It's not so. I mean, it's not so much the quality of the image; it's making sure they're clearer than everybody else's. I think, like with my image, it wasn't. I mean, it's still the same image, but what's on there is much clearer to see and read.
Yeah, I remember that. Obviously, I won't say the product or anything, but I remember the big takeaway, and this was like an aha moment for me, right? I'm not sure if you remember, but it was like, oh my God, like, why didn't we see this like a few weeks before? And it was that when I was looking on mobile and I was scrolling through the search results, there was like one or two competitors, but let's just say one competitor, where the text was easier read, right? You know, loads of people have boxes. Some people don't have boxes, but you know, it's easier to read on mobile. And others, pretty much all of them, including yours, you couldn't actually read it. It was too small. And I was like, this is why they'll be converting higher. It's why their BSR is lower. It's because it's literally clearer. And that's, I mean, you made that change. And did that make a difference?
It didn't make a difference overnight. It definitely did help. But I mean, 100% it made a massive difference because my all-time high sales was with that image. So like the all-time high sales this time around absolutely dwarfed the last all-time high sales that I had last time around. So it's 100. So it's like a combination of them. But again, it's because I was changing quite a few things quite regularly because I wasn't given enough chance. It's quite hard to pinpoint what specific, like which part of the listing specifically made that change. I mean, that's definitely one of them. The price probably helped as well. But yeah, I mean, that would have definitely, well, I mean, I think it would have definitely helped.
Yeah. So it's really important when we're looking, because you brought up price, right? Price is super important. If you lower the price, obviously you're going to get a higher conversion. It might be cheaper compared to others, but everything has to be in a balance, right? So if the images isn't quite converting, you're not getting the click-through rate by changing the image, then the price should also affect the click-through rate. The price should also affect the conversion rate as well as the pictures. So everything has to be in a balance, right? Once you find that balance, which you've kind of got at the moment, then everything works together. But if like the reviews aren't there, you have to lower the price to make up for the reviews not being there. And I think that's really important for people to understand as well, is that, you know, you need to think about what the customer is seeing, not what you're seeing. If the customer is seeing lots of products that are maybe quite similar and one is 30%, 40% higher price than the others, why would they buy that product, right? You've got to give them the incentive and the reason by having higher converting images, for example, to buy your product, right? You've got to convince them to buy your product, because otherwise they're just going to go with the cheaper one. Who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
So I think the third thing probably says patience is...
that's something that a hard lesson I've had to learn. That is, that's something I'm not very good at.
No, yeah. Patience is a hard one, but particularly with changing things, right? Yeah. Quite often we can over-optimize PPC. We can over-optimize images because we make a change and we maybe leave it a couple of days and then make another change, but we don't actually know what change made the difference, because 2 days isn't enough data. You know, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's enough data. So unless there's, again, a lot of traffic coming in. So I think the third thing would definitely be patience and just give your changes time, and you can always backtrack if it goes worse, right? You can always take them away and go back to the original. Like, you know, say for example, you change the images today and for the next 2 weeks, the click-through rate decreases or the conversion decreases. You're like, okay, that didn't work. Go back to the normal one, and then make sure it goes back. So, okay, cool. That definitely was the issue. And then you can change it again and you can do another test. That takes a huge amount of patience, and it's a pain, right? You just want it to work straight away, but unfortunately it's just not like that.
One of the big issues that I was also finding was when you go to put the price up. So say for example, a standard day by 12 o'clock, I'd have like 10 sales. I'd put the price up and 12 o'clock comes and I've only got 2. It's that mental block going, I've got to pull the price back down because I'm not getting any sales again. But you never know, like 9 o'clock, I might have got 20.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No day's the same. Like there's no consistent theme in a day of how, I mean, there is like rough gauges, like in terms evening normally does work better in terms of where sales come in, but it's quite hard to spot a consistent theme especially with my product, with how the sales work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, you know, I'll tell people, you know, don't look at your app first thing in the morning, because whatever
who's
happens,
up buying a product at 3 a.m?
Exactly, yeah.
But
if you
do, but not the most of them.
I know, yeah. But if you get to like 10 a.m. or something, or before you go to work, and you're then checking it, and you're like, oh, there's less sales than this time last week or yesterday. You're constantly now stressing about your sales. you can't change anything at that point. And if you do change anything, it won't make a difference from the past anyway. So it's important just to, again, have that patience and let the process just run through and get a lot of data, get a week's data, not a day's data, get a month's data, not 2 weeks data, because the better the data, the better decisions that you can make. And that's literally all it is. It's just about decision-making quality. If you have good data to make decisions, there's going to be good decisions. If you don't have the data, then most likely there'll be bad decisions. So that sucks, right? It's not cool. It's no one likes waiting, right? But that's just part of business. Yeah.
I definitely don't. But it's a lesson that I've had to learn, and I mean, it's a lesson I'm probably going to continue having to learn.
Yeah.
Like when I release the next product, I'm like, oh, why is this not working? The other one's doing good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, damn. And then I guess fourth thing would be that I guess PPC just highlights what you've already done. So if your listing doesn't convert, it just highlights that it doesn't convert. If it does convert, it highlights that it does convert by making you more sales. So when people are looking, or when you're looking, if anyone's watching, hopefully at least one person's watching. If anyone's watching,
I mean, I am.
Yeah, you're watching. If something's going wrong with PPC, don't automatically think the problem is PPC. Right? The problem is probably something else
on the listing.
It's something on the listing. I mean, we work with a lot of people on PPC and creating listings and giving feedback. The biggest thing we see that makes the biggest difference is images. Probably 90% of the time, everything can be resolved with the change of a few images, or even the way that they're laid out in terms of the order. That first image. For example, this is a sneak peek for anyone that got this far in this video. So I'm bringing out a new product. I will talk about it on YouTube. And I'm going through this process at the moment of doing these image verification experiments, right? You know what that is, but a lot of people won't. But it's basically where you're testing to see if the image is clickable without actually having the product on Amazon or really actually spending any money doing it. And the first iteration, then it was getting roughly 20% of people's attention, like a virtual click. I just showed it to people and I said, which one would you click on? They say which one they want to click on. They obviously don't know what it is or which one's mine. And actually I put 2 in there. So I did it was a trick. And about 20% of people were clicking on mine. I was like, right, that's not good enough. If I'm running advertising and I'm not getting the attention, I'm not going to get the clicks and I'm not going to make the sales. So I changed the first image and it went up. It went to like 50, 60%. I was like, right, okay, cool, on the right track. But there's still something that's not quite right with the image. Did another variation of it and really kind of went in on the feedback that I was given of the previous 2 times. And then it was like 90%. It was like 90% of these new people were like, yeah, that is the one I clicked.
70% unit
of course.
percentage.
Yes, of course I am. That's crazy though. That's crazy. It's just really, really, really high. And that means you're going to get this I mean, it should be happening at the moment, but you'll be getting more sales, you'll be getting more reviews, more social proof, and it's just going to literally feed itself.
It's a cycle.
It is a cycle, yeah.
But another thing to also remember, I'm still not brand registered yet. I've done all of that with no brand registry. I've not even unlocked that part of Amazon yet to start using it.
And you will do, yeah. Get it in now.
It can be done without that stuff.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, brand registry doesn't make a massive difference on conversions, a few percent, maybe. The big thing that you get from brand registry is the ads, basically the enhanced ads that you can do. So for you, once you have this high conversion rate, you've got the new brand when that comes in. That would be the point to get these extra ads so that you have omnipresence, right? You want to go onto Amazon, you search for your keyword, the broadest keyword, and you are at the top. You're on the banner ad, you're on the side ad, you're on a sponsored ad, you go on someone's listings, you're everywhere, but you know that you can make money from all of those placements because your conversion rate is so high. And that's where you can really kind of dominate your niche, and that like feeding the beast, it like feeds itself. The only thing that will stop you is just going out of stock. And that's
which
literally
which is such a pain.
It is a pain, yeah.
It's horrible. Pick China up and put it close to the UK.
The whole China.
2 months for a boat to get in.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mental.
Yeah, I would say get your brand registry stuff done as soon as possible. Like trademarks at the moment are taking 4 or 5 months, so they're delayed. But I mean, really, really cool. You spent time kind of talking over this stuff. What advice do you have for all of the lovely people watching?
Don't give up. And just because something isn't in the course doesn't mean you can't try it. A lot of people probably look at that course and go, I've got to stay inside these lines. Sometimes the best things are done outside the lines. I mean, the course is fantastic for getting you to go, but sometimes just pushing them little boundaries. There's little side avenues you can take.
Totally.
Like I'd done. Yeah. But yeah, definitely try things that, I mean, if you don't try it, you never know if it will work or if it don't.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really important because, for example, we can't train everyone on every possibility for every single product. It's just ridiculous.
It's impossible to do that.
It's completely impossible. So you need to really think about. I think the main thing to really think about is your particular product, the place that you're in right now, and how do you get that one step in front? Not how do I get 3 months down the line. It's how do I increase this, for tomorrow, for next week, and like keep those incremental like percentage increases. Because if you increase 1% every week, well, that's going to make a massive difference over the space of a year. So yeah, absolutely. Like trial things, test things, don't get too emotionally attached, but ultimately just like, I guess, just don't give up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've done it 6 times now. I've gone out of stock and we're back in the stock, and each time I've gone, I can't get rid of these units, and I've got rid of even more. So my mum actually told me about that. I was like, oh yeah, I have, haven't I?
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe if I order 10,000, I might be able to get rid of them.
But that's actually something that you kind of forget. You desensitize to the process, right? You'll think, oh, I'll never be able to do these. You go in and oh my God, it's so hard. And then you sell through them, and then you just like, oh, well, will I be able to do it again? Of course you will, because you've already done it, 6 times now. So it's just every single time you're doing it, you're getting better and better and better and better. Like you're crafting your skill and getting more experience. And at the end of the day, in a year's time, then that'll be just like done. Yeah, you don't have to think about it. Out of stock, Absolutely. In stock, I know exactly what to do. I've got all the experience, and you can get other people to do it at that point, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's my business, so I don't want anyone touching it.
Exactly. Right, wicked, Sam. Thank you so much for joining us on this call, and hopefully, then we'll. Maybe a year's time, we'll do another call.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, let's hope I can go above 80K.
You will do 80K a month. Come on, it's going to happen. It will happen because that's not even that many multitudes. Like multiplies like from where you are right now. It's really not. Like if you have another product, then that's not actually that far off.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Wicked, man. Right. If you are interested in joining the Seller Pro Academy, this is not for you. I know you're already in there. It's for them. Then it's actually application only at the moment, or for all time probably. If you go down in the description, there'll be a link where you can apply to book a call. All right. Well, that cut off. Basically, description, link, subscribe, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.